Benvenuto. Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make Connecticut spice cookies, or some people might call them Connecticut nutmeg cookies. Connecticut's kind of official state name is the Constitution State, which I've researched it, but it's too long of a story to go into. If anyone's interested in, type in Google, Connecticut or the Constitution State. But anyway, one of the other nicknames it has is the nutmeg state. That's even more of a mystery because nutmeg trees do not grow in Connecticut. They're certainly not native to Connecticut. I think back in the 1600s, it's a cookie that became popular, or probably later than the 1600s, probably the 1800s, became popular in New England. And for some reason, Connecticut was known for nutmeg cookies or spice cookies. Okay, so anyway, I know that a lot of times we think of spice cookies around the winter holidays, but these cookies are so delicious, they're just too good to have just 1 or 2 times during the year. So I'm going to show you how I do them. First thing we're going to need, of course, is some flour. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you, go through all the ingredients, and then we'll do the flour. So we've got some all-purpose flour here. Spice cookies, or at least these nutmeg cookies, are very similar to it's not a ginger snap. It's not a regular spice cookie. It's kind of in between. It's not quite as crunchy as a ginger snap, but it's not quite as moist as a regular spice cookie or chewy. So for the kind of authentic recipe, it calls for molasses. Of course, we're going to need some baking soda is the leavening agent. We need some salt. And then the group of spices we need some ground cinnamon. We're going to use a tablespoon of ground cinnamon. We need, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Wait, I'll put the recipe on anyway, in case I screw up anything. We need 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. We need 1/4 of a teaspoon of dried cloves. And, of course, we need nutmeg. Now, I've made these with ground nutmeg, this ground nutmeg from that spice company. I think my own personal opinion is it tastes a little bit better with fresh nutmeg. Wade said he can't really tell the difference. I don't think it makes much of a difference, but we have some nutmeg here, so we're going to grind our own nutmeg. But so that's a nutmeg. I'm sure people have seen a nutmeg. It's actually, people think it's a nut. It's actually not a nut. It's actually just a piece of wood or some type of thing that grows on the branch of the nutmeg tree. But anyway, you just grind it up on your little handy dandy nutmeg grinder. I won't make you watch me all do that, but I'm going to do that. We're going to need a 1/2 teaspoon of that. Then we need 1½ sticks of butter, or 12 tablespoons of butter, and we need a room temperature egg. And of course, the equipment you need is a mixer. If you've got a hand mixer, you could do it by hand, but it's going to take a lot longer. Or if you've got a stand mixer. Of course, you're going to need some cookie sheets lined with parchment paper. Our oven is preheating to 350. And before I go on and clean up the rest of this, I just want to show you, I know we've done this before when we bake, especially when you're baking a cake or cookies like that. You want to make sure you've got your dry ingredients pretty much where it should be. So if you just take your dry cup of, that's a dry baking cup, and kind of plop it in there and then level it off, you're going to pack it really hard. And you're going to end up having a little bit more flour than you actually need. So there is our oven has reached temperature. So if you kind of loosen up your flour a little bit and start to put it in your bowl or your cup, and no matter how hard you try, you're going to get flour on your counter. All right, and then you take your knife, maybe just push it down a little bit, and measure it off. So we've got one. Of course, the best way to always do flour, especially in baking, is using a scale. But this method will help your flour be a little less compact and a little bit more accurate to your measurement. All right, that's all there is to it. So, oh, I forgot an important ingredient. We're going to need a cup of sugar as well, which I'll bring that back when we come back. All right, I'm going to clean up this mess of flour and we'll bake some cookies. See you in a bit. Okay, we're back. So, as with any great cookie recipe, it starts with us creaming our sugar and our butter. So I've got my 1.5 sticks of room temperature unsalted butter. And like I said, I told you we need a cup of sugar, which I forgot in the ingredients. And we want to start that out on low. And get it creaming nice. So of course, when you're creaming the butter, it's kind of doing two things, right? You're getting the sugar is absorbing into the butter, and you're also putting a little bit of air into the butter, and it's getting lighter and fluffier. Put it up a bit, just so that we get it all mixing around this bowl. All right. In the meantime, while we wait for that, we're going to get the rest of our dry ingredients. So we've got our 2 cups of flour here. We've got our, now I'm using kosher salt, and it's going to say kosher salt in the recipe. Kosher salt and table salt or fine salt are not the same thing. So if you, only because the grain in kosher salt is much bigger, I'm not going to be able to show that, but it's much bigger than in fine salt. So in this situation, we're using half a teaspoon of kosher salt. If you're using table salt, I would cut that in half at least. This recipe is going to make about 24, maybe 26, 27 cookies, so about 2 dozen. Of course, if you want to double it or triple it, just double and triple everything. And our butter's looking nice. It's a little warm today, so that butter was really at room temperature. And I'm going to shut that off while we go through this. So we got our butter and our baking powder in here. We got our half a teaspoon of fresh ground nutmeg or dried. You can use whatever. We got our ginger, cinnamon, and clove. And kind of just want to incorporate that well into the flour. So when we get it into our batter, it's well distributed. Now we're going to show you, we're going to do 2 baking times. We're going to bake them for 12 minutes, and that's going to give us a slightly chewier cookie. And then we'll do a batch that we're going to bake for 14 minutes, which will make the cookies a little bit more crispy. They'll still be a little chewy inside, but they'll be a little bit more crispy. All right, so I'm going to put that aside now. So now in here, move it over. I'm going to add our wet ingredients. Of course, that's the egg. And our molasses. Just trying to get all of it out. Our Boston baked beans is one of our most popular recipes. We've had well over 5,000 views of that, huh? And every once in a while I'll get a comment from somebody saying that you use brown sugar in beans. Well, but that is true. We have a recipe that you use brown sugar in our crockpot beans, but authentic Boston baked beans uses molasses. The city of Boston was a huge producer of molasses once upon a time. As a matter of fact, there's a big, I think it was called the Great Molasses Flood or something. The factory, all the vats of molasses burst and came flooding the streets of Boston. Anyway, interesting story. All right, I'm going to incorporate this a little bit. I'm going to go grab a spatula. And we'll give that a little scrape down.
It smells good already.
Doesn't it? And plus, we're gonna have these cookies today in kind of a special summery way, which you guys will see later. And I think that looks nicely combined. So then we're going to slowly add our dry ingredients. It's probably about half a cup. And, I've just, started off on low so you don't end up getting flour all through the air in the house. And when it's incorporated a bit more, you can skip it up to medium, and we're just going to let that go until most of the flour is absorbed into our eggs, sugar, and butter mixture. Probably 30, 40 seconds. That looks good. I don't know if any of you out there are Doctor Who fans, but I love Doctor Who. And I'm kind of looking forward to tomorrow. So depending upon when you watch this, this is the Saturday before Easter of 2022. But tomorrow they will be having the Easter special. And it sounds like we're getting a new Doctor. So I can't wait. Although I love Jodie, but... Let's see, it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 1 o'clock in the morning there, but it's Saturday. So it's going to be tomorrow night. Hopefully, Wade will be able to get it for me shortly after they air it. On our streaming service, of course. Yeah, I'm just going to give it a little scrape down again. It's a nice... beautiful cookie batter. Now, depending upon how warm it is, sometimes I do put this in the refrigerator just to stiffen it up a bit, because I like to use a little cookie, one of these, cookie scooper, so that they're relatively uniform. See? You did it. I was just showing them what happens when you turn it on high. put our last bit in. And give that a stir. Give it a few seconds, and then we'll go back in and scrape it one more time, scrape the stuff off the batter. It smells delicious. Make sure we got all the flour off the bottom. Yeah, we'll give it just a couple more seconds. All right, that is good. So there's our dough. I'm going to get our batter cleaned off nicely, make sure we get every little piece out, and we'll be back and get our cookies in the oven. Okay, guys, I did put this in the, actually put it in the freezer for a few minutes because, like I said, it's a bit warm here today, and I like to get as perfect as cookies as possible. Not necessarily. You can do this with a teaspoon, and it'll be a lot less, a lot easier. But I've got nice clean hands. Don't forget our oven is on 350, rack in the middle. Now, I like to do all of my trays of cookies at once, so I don't have to stop in between. So that's what we're going to do. So, like I said, so I've got my scooper here. Pop it out. I always roll it a little bit. You don't have to. And, of course, like most cookies, we want to put it about 2 inches apart. So with this half sheet, I'm usually able to get 9 cookies. Like I said, just putting in the refrigerator, just firm the dough up a little bit more. It's not going to add to the baking time because I'm going to do these all before I put them in the oven. So by the time we get this batch in the oven, it's going to come back to the temperature it was. How many do I have there? 27. Okay, so we got 27 cookies here. I actually got enough probably for another 6 or 7 back in the refrigerator, but I wanted to get these done. So I've done all my cookies, and again, we've got our oven set at 350, medium rack. Now, you could do more than one batch at a time, depending upon how good the airflow is in your oven. I have found in my oven it works best to do one sheet at a time. All right, so we're going to do this as the soft and chewy one. So we're going to set a timer. Okay, Google, set a timer for 12 minutes. I don't know why that said it in the living room. Okay, Google, Set a timer for 12 minutes.
Okay, 12 minutes. And that's starting now.
Okay, we have 2 timers going now. All right, so we'll see you back in 12 minutes. We'll just take them out of the oven, show you what they look like at that point. Then what you want to do is let them cool on a rack in the pan for about 5 minutes. And then you can put them on a cookie rack for them to totally cool down. So we'll see you in about 12 minutes. Okay, Google, stop. All right, guys, we're at our 12-minute mark. Take out our first batch. And we had 2 that didn't behave. But there it is. It's, kind of a nice spice cookie looking. It's not necessarily golden brown, but... So, we're going to put these on a cookie sheet for 5 minutes. It's a good idea to let them cool for at least 5 minutes because they are going to be soft if you take them off now because they're going to crack and fall apart on you. All right, so let's get our second batch in. Okay, Google, set a timer for 12 minutes.
Okay, 12 minutes.
And our next batch we're going to do for 14 minutes and get the little crunchier texture. All right, see you in 12 minutes. Okay, our second batch is done. Ooh, and this time only one came out a little wonky. All right, so we're going to let those cool for 5 minutes. This batch we're going to do for 14 minutes. Give us that little extra crispy. Okay, Google, set a timer for 14 minutes.
Okay, 14 minutes. Starting now.
All right, I'll see you in 14 minutes. 2, 1. Okay, Google, stop. All right, our crispier batch is done. You really can't tell the difference, but they do. They are a bit more crispy when you are eating them, of course. Okay, again, same routine. We're going to let those go cool down for 5 minutes. I'm going to put our last 5 in. Okay, Google, set a timer for 12 minutes. And the next time you see us, we'll be enjoying our delicious Connecticut spice cookies. See you in a little while. Okay, we're back, and we're about to eat about 2 dozen or more delicious Connecticut nutmeg cookies. Hopefully we don't eat them all tonight. But anyway, so we've got our chewy ones.
I'll take one.
Yeah, me too. We'll take one of these. Then we got our crunchy.
Crunchy.
Or a little crunchier. So it is actually a little bit darker than the others.
Yeah.
And then we got the best way to eat them of all for the summertime. Got an ice cream sandwich. Sorry, ice cream sandwich. Connecticut nutmeg cookie. How about we start with the chewy one?
Chewy one.
Don't need that.
These are really good. They're delicious.
Yeah. Just the right sweetness.
I'm not really a spice person, but
I mean, he does not like.
These are really good.
He wouldn't eat ginger snaps or gingerbread or something like that.
Well, eat these.
Yep. Because just the right amount of
Yep.
sugar and spice, chewiness.
A little crunch on the outside, chewy on the inside.
All right. How about we try the
Crunchy.
little crunchier? I can even hear it.
More crunchy. Of course, the more they sit, they get more crunchier.
Yeah, the longer it sits, of course, you're going to put these in an airtight container. But the long, a day or so later, they're going to get even more crispy.
These are good. They're delicious.
Okay, so. And you take a sip of.
Cookies and milk.
Ready? You ready to try out your
A sandwich.
ice cream sandwich? So the ice cream is nice and soft because I made them a little while ago and then took them out of the freezer, but so it's going to be messy. Sorry.
Oh, so good. It's good. A little soft, as you can see.
Yeah, the ice cream's a bit soft, more softer than it should be to eat neatly. I just got my favorite vanilla bean ice cream in there.
Go delicious together.
Yeah, took a scoop of ice cream and put them together. Yeah, the spice and the vanilla goes really well together. I guess you could put any kind of ice cream you want in there. Wow.
Excellent.
While we make a mess here and finish our dessert, I don't have anything else to say.
Please like the video, subscribe, and you can check out the recipe on cherryhillhomecooking.com. Bye.
Ciao. Yep, that's a bit too soft.
That's really good. I'll eat some pork now.